Okay. Let's turn my volume up here. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Scuba Diver produced series, Good Conversations. Um, yeah, I'm gonna break down some questions. We're gonna have a good conversation here. One thing you might know is that you are staring at a a still image of a piece of art. You're not watching a video. You're not watching a podcast of sorts. No, this is sort of a diary entry into the abyss of YouTube, into the abyss of the internet. It's just sort of a diary entry of me answering some questions, I guess. I don't know. Take it how you want. Don't watch it. Watch it. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Sleep to it. I know I got a soothing voice. I mean, they don't call me, you know, uh, that the soothing voice guy for nothing. Um, Shoot, I don't know, man. I don't know how to really formally start this. I guess we just start with the first question, right? Hope you're having a good day. Um, let's lay some context real quick. So, for those who are watching in the future, or for those who are just chilling here right now, don't really know what Good Conversations is. I got this album coming out. It's LP4, album 4. At the time of me talking about this, I haven't revealed the name for it. And to be honest, I'm a little bit hesitant because I kind of have this like voice in the back of my head that says to like change the name to something really avant-garde or something really like just different, right? Something not what it's planned out to be. And there's that little voice that goes, "Don't reveal the name yet because this album isn't out yet. You can still tweak it and change the name, and maybe you find out a better name that fits the concept, and you've already revealed the name, right? So it's like, oh man." Um, so I have a name, but I won't reveal it till like I feel very confident. You know what I mean? Till I feel very, very secure. Um, but shoot, yeah, I got this album out, or not out, but I got this album made. It's in my files right now. It's a pretty dope album. Not gonna lie, I think it's my best one. It's very professional sounding. I think I've learned a lot mixing wise and mastering wise and all that, right? So I think it should be pretty cool. Um, but basically, I sent out this thing on Instagram stories. Hey, man, ask any questions you want. It doesn't even have to be about the album, man. It doesn't have to be about the album at all. It could be about anything. It could be like, what's your thoughts on, grass or something? I don't know, just like anything, right? And I got a lot of questions. Most of them are about the album, and rightfully so, because it is, a monumental drop. I only drop it maybe, every once in a while. Couple singles, album every, so months or whatever. I'm planning on dropping a lot more though. That should be fun. We'll see. I don't know. First question though. First question. Now that you got some context on what Good Conversations is, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up in my Photos app. Let's look for this real quick because you know we did airdrop a little screenshot of all these questions you guys brought in because I'm very prepared. And the first question is looking like by Aiden Carney. Hello, Aiden Carney. Glad to have a good conversation with you. He says, "How long has this project been in the works? What's your proudest moment on it?" Man, that's a great question. How long has this project been in the works? Well, LP4, honestly, bro, it started out as a completely different thing. I'm not even gonna lie. It was like this very interesting album about, like, I don't know, me sitting in on like a therapy session, with like a group therapy session, and that was how the album started. Like the buzzing of like the AC, and you're in this group therapy, right? And then like and then like it goes over to, okay, scuba diver. Now you say what you want to say, and the album starts, and it just doesn't stop until like the end of the album. And that was originally the idea, right? Of just like scuba diver, you say what you want to say, and LP4 will be a giant odyssey of like sounds, right, until it ends. Um, I thought that was a cool idea, but I just was not prepared because like I didn't have the mixing belt on. I didn't have like the black belt in mastering. Or the ideas I wanted to do, I couldn't execute them properly, right? So I just got frustrated, man. And eventually, some of the songs off Nation became that. Um, and yeah, that yeah. So Nation was like the first draft. It was like the amalgamation of the first draft of this album. And then the second draft of the album was this very sample based album that I think it was entirely samples, honestly. I think that might still be in the works, might still come out, maybe in time for late summer, early fall. Who knows? I'm excited. I'm still working on it, right? So I mean, like, who knows? It could happen. I'm not gonna put like a 100% on it because I got like things going on in my life. I'm 18, right? I'm doing college. I'm doing all this stuff, right? So I don't know, but that's the plan. And I want to have a lot of features on it too. So we'll see if that happens. But I don't know. Um, but originally, those were the two concepts, and those kind of flurried out in oblivion. It's like, all right, well, I kind of want to do something different. And then March came around, bro. March. So March to May, it's like 3-4 months ish. I worked on this album, and it is pretty freaking crazy, man. I like it a lot, and obviously I like it a lot because I'm down to release it. So I don't know. It's different. It's not Godspeed 2. It's not Apple Cider Ranch. I'm gonna turn my gain down a bit. It's not like all the other albums I've made, but it is different, which is, I think that's the biggest thing you can really ask for with an album is something different, something challenging, something a little bit interesting. Um, Shoot, man. I think I should turn my gain back up. I'm having this like confliction with gain right now. Should I turn my microphone up or down? I don't know. It's a predicament. I guess I'll just keep it like this. Whatever. Um, Shoot. So yeah. Yeah, I've been working on this album for around 3 months, start to finish. I mean, there's been some like drafts that I like, come out of the other albums that I've mentioned, like, first drafts or second drafts that have been like, oh, I'm gonna rework these. The second song on the album is actually is that. It's a reworked song from like January, from like all the way back from like November, I think. Some songs, right? So it's interesting, right? But what's your proudest moment on this release, man? I think the thing I'm most proud of. If we're gonna go with the proudest moment, there's this moment in the middle of the track list. It's actually an interlude. It's a little interlude, and it's just so cool. Like, it's just awesome. I don't know. There's something about that interlude that's just awesome. The way it's mixed, the way it's just the tone. My voice is panned a little bit to like the left. It's just, I don't know. Everything about it is so snug and awesome, and it completely sets up the second half of the album perfectly, and I love it. That's the moment I'm most proud of. The thing I'm most proud of about this album in general is just the mixing quality and the production quality. Like, I just think I've really advanced. Listening back to Godspeed 2, great album, but you can tell there was some, like, stuff execution-wise that could have been fixed. I was going for, like, a really dark, stark type of mix, but, like, sometimes it felt a little bit more muddy than intentional, right? So it's like, oh, man. And you go back and you make another album, and it's like, oh, shoot, I learned from this. So I don't know. I think I've learned a lot. Basically, the thing I'm most proud of is I took all the lessons I've learned and I harnessed them. I put it into one chakra and I just completely, pointed it at this album. And I think we got that, So I'm excited. I don't know. Should be cool. Another question here. Question 2 from Mr. Gibby Smacks. He asked, is Hangman in it? Now, for all you scuba diver fiends out there who don't really know what Hangman is, it's an unreleased song featuring the one, the only Shy High. And yeah, he kills his verse on it. It's crazy. It's in the vault right now, actually, because the second draft of the album I was talking about, where there's a bunch of samples, Hangman actually fits on that way better than this album. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it in the fold, along with songs like Gandhi, which people probably know. If I bring that up and you know it, then you know it. But if not, it's another song that's kind of like Hangman, same style, right? I'm picturing them fitting on the same album, right? So we'll see. I'm gonna try and get that album out before summer ends, 100%. I got a trip to Europe later this summer. I'm gonna do my mixing sessions there, so we should see how it goes. But shoot, man, Hangman is not on this album. It doesn't fit quite perfectly, right? It needs to fit holistically into an experience. And if I put Hangman on this album, it would kind of just sound jarring. I feel like, But shoot, next question, I guess. Hangman's dope. Shout out Shy High. But next question, can you make an Under the Sea EP? Under the Sea EP? I don't know. But EP? Yeah, I like EPs. I think I was like, there was a time in my career where I was like, EPs are kind of dumb because just make an album. Nobody cares about the EPs. Make the album. Make it an epic. Make it a 30, 40-minute thing, right? But there's something about EPs that are so kind of cool to just like try out ideas and just like mess around, right? And I don't know. I have like 3 or 4 EPs just in the vault, unmixed, unmastered, that have just like completely different styles. One is like a disco EP. One's like Plunderphonics. Like it's just some crazy stuff. And to be honest, I should release it. Like that's my fault. You guys should have heard like 3 or 4 EPs this year already, bro. But I'm so like self-conscious on like, oh, is it the best it can be, right? So that's like, I don't know. That's my vice I have to deal with. You know, every artist has that one vice. Kanye's a little bit crazy sometimes. You know, Kid Cudi sometimes makes a little bit iffy music. My vice is, bro, I just want everything to sound perfect, so it takes a lot for me to drop. That's my vice, and I'll get over it, and I'll become the superhero y'all need one day. But for now, I'm chilling in an anxiety pool of like, oh my god, do better, right? So I don't know. I love EPs. If I make an Under the Sea EP, it would be the best Under the Sea EP anybody's ever heard. That's a fact, bro. I'd get everything in there. I'd get an orchestra, bro. I get an orchestra for it. Count on that. But great question. That was from Childish DeVito. That's a crazy ass name. That's a great name, bro. Thank you for asking your question. Okay, the next question comes from Velshiel. A frequent name we see here in the scuba diver region. Pretty dope dude. Been around for a while. How you doing, Velshiel? You know, great to have a conversation with you. You asked concept question mark? Now that is a one-word question, but it is a very important question. It's very, very important. You see, I love albums, and when you love albums, you have to recognize that there are also concept albums that you can love, right? And as a person who makes albums, I like making concept albums. And the concept of this album, it's not like a story, beat by beat, Good Kid, Mad City type of thing where it's like, oh, it's a objective story of an album. This is more of like a This is more along the vibe route of it. So it's like the concept is like, I would say the main concept is probably time. There's a lot of different stuff weaving in and out, but time seems to be the biggest concept. I think because, man, I'm growing up. I'm 18. I'm graduating high school. I'm moving out of state, right? Time moves ever so fast. You know what I mean? It's like it's a very anxiety-inducing subject, time. So I don't know. I just wrote a whole album about it. I just wrote a whole album about my anxieties, my fears. You know, how the future is a giant nihilistic party from Blink of an Eye. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like that's sort of the concept really, and that's sort of relayed in every song to some extent, right? But I think in the Blink of an Eye, you can probably hear it at full force. You know what I mean? Like the lyrical tone. The lyrical theme. You know what I mean? The tone of it. It's very interesting. I think you'll see a lot of that in the album. Also, like with the concept being time, I didn't want to just like only have lyrics about time, because I mean, like you can listen to lyrics about, you know, time travel and stuff all day. You know, it doesn't make an interesting album, right? So I experimented a lot with like time signatures as well for like the first time. I think almost all my songs have been like 4/4, 6/4 flat. But this album, man, like there's some interesting time signatures that go on. Like the first song, I'm trying to think. The first song, third song. Blink of an Eye has a little bit. I don't know, not really. But there's like time signature warping in this album a lot. Also, tempo switches too. Just anything to deal with time. Like I just want to utilize it. So time signatures, tempo switches, lyrical themes. Sound effects that might relate to. I mean, you'll see when you hear it. It's pretty interesting. I think it's pretty cool. But that's the concept, really. It's time. It's the future. It's the unknown. It's the supernatural. It is the stuff we can't really understand without like going a little crazy trying to explain it to somebody. You know what I mean? It's that type of stuff. It's like, you know, why do we exist? Why is time like this? Why can we, you know, is time the fourth dimension? That's the type of stuff I was inspired by, as well as just my own like experiences with like growing up, right? So that album, this album, LP4, Scuba Diver LP4 is the time one. Just remember that. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome. I think my use of time signatures and stuff is like awesome. I'm geeking out myself. I'm like smiling ear to ear thinking about the album I made. That should not be possible. Like, that should be like, it's probably egotistical, but I come from a place where it's like I just love it, you know. It's not like I love the fact that I made it, but I just love it that like, I don't know, I finished my idea, right? So that's why I'm grinning ear to ear when I answer these questions, man. It's just so awesome, you know what I mean? I think everybody should have that sort of connection with their work, to be honest. But shoot, we got another question from Mr. Noghead. He said, "What's the best part about the album as a whole?" I think I already answered this a little bit, so I'm just gonna go a little bit more into the mixing. I mean, the mixing is just way better. I just think I executed the album way better. And obviously, it's probably not gonna be the most pristine thing you ever hear, right? I'm an 18-year-old working on GarageBand in his like walk-in closet, right? You know what I mean? The mixing isn't gonna be, the craziest, most spectacular thing you ever witnessed. But I mixed it to a point where it's like when I hear it through headphones, it is just perfect to me. Like I just love it. And maybe my sense of perfection will change over time as I grow. I experience, I guess more clarity in life. I don't know. But like right now, man, like I think this album sounds amazing. And it might not sound as amazing in 2 to 3 years, but I think I did a pretty damn good job in mixing this thing. So I'm very happy. That's the one thing I'm most excited about. If you were listening to Godspeed 2 and you were like, shoot, man, if this had just a bit more execution on like the production mixing side, bro, this would be a banger, like a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Like this is that album. You feel me? Like this is the album where I got my swagger. You feel me? I got my shit together. So I don't know. That's the thing I'm most excited for, 100%. Another question from Noghead. This is a very philosophical question, too. Do you climb mountains to be seen or to see more from the vantage point? Now, I actually heard this quote a couple days ago for the first time. I don't know what it was from. It might have been like a random Theo Von TikTok for all I know, bro. Who knows, man? But, like, shoot. It's a pretty insane quote. Like, do you do stuff for the glory of yourself? Like, do you want people to look at you and be like, whoa? Or do you do stuff because like you want to experience that whoa? And I think for me, honestly, bro, I want it to be more of like I'm doing it for me. Like I'm climbing the mountain to. I want it to be like I'm climbing the mountain because I want to see the vantage point. But obviously, like as a human and also as an artist and also as somebody who's just like I don't know. I guess somebody who like releases stuff onto the internet and gets comments on it, like obviously there's that little flinch of like, oh, like I hope they like it, right? Or like, oh shoot, like if I make this crazy album, I hope people are gonna say it's that good. You know what I mean? Like obviously there's a little bit of a hint of that, but overall, I think I'm at a point where it's like I'm mostly just appreciating, my own life. I think that's pretty good. I think everybody should get to that point where it's like you're not really worried about the external. You feel me? I used to get bummed out if like, a peer of mine would like blow up on TikTok. I'd be like, dang, like good for him. Like I'm very happy, right? But there's that tinge of jealousy. Like, oh shoot, I wish I got that type of traction so I could get those numbers and I could get this like sort of fan base that follows me. Like there's always that pull, right? But I mean, overall, bro. I think I'm working on it. I'm working on doing things just for me. I'm not like, I don't know. It's a very complex question. And I like complex questions, right? But they require complex answers. So it's a little bit more than a this one or this one. It's more of it's a bit of both and I'm working on it, right? So I don't know. But great question. Thank you, Noghead, man. Thank you, Noghead. Next question comes from, I've seen Finney. Can you describe what LP4 sounds like in the form of other artists? Now, what I'm guessing you mean by this is like, can you give us like an artist reference point or an album reference point to like explain how this one's gonna sound, right? And shoot. Man. It's hard like pulling yourself, because I've made the album, right? So I think of it as a different thing than like something than more than I think of it more than just like a combination of two tropes and then like there's the album, right? Like a combination of two artists. Like this isn't like a Kanye times MGMT album, you know what I mean? It's just Scuba Diver for me, right? But pulling myself out of it, I would have to say, like if you were hearing this album for the first time and you just had to give it like a comparison of some sort and you were just like, this reminds me of this, I'd say like, man, this is like a Gorillaz album if it was like, I don't know, off the wall. I don't know, man. It's hard because when I say Gorillaz because like they do a lot of different genres and a lot of different styles in one album, and they mix it in a way that sounds very cohesive. And I think that's what I'm doing on this one a lot with all the time concept stuff, because the time concept also, like, I'm making music from different time periods and incorporating it, right? So it's like it's all over the place in a way, but it's completely whole. So I don't know. Shoot, man. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'd say if you're gonna go into it with like an idea of what it might be, just think of like a Gorillaz album or something. I guess how they just blend all these styles together and make it cohesive. That's how I'd probably think of it if I was going into it for the first time without even knowing what Scuba Diver was, right? But since I'm me and I know the album back and forth and I've listened to, these songs multiple times, to me, man, it just sounds like it sounds like if Scuba Diver, split off into different realities all at once, and each song is a different reality with a different Scuba Diver, and they all combine into one giant metamorphosized butterfly of cosmic growth. That's what I'd say. Um, Thank you for the question. I've seen Finney. Next question, we got Concrete Raspberries. Thank you very much for asking this question, Concrete Raspberries. It's great to have a conversation with you. You ask, who's your favorite artist you've worked with? Wow, wow, wow. Very, very, very hard question. I don't like playing favorites, mostly because I'm afraid I'm going to hurt other people's feelings. I know people don't really care. Like, if another artist says, like, another name instead of me or something, I don't get, like, annoyed. I'm like, oh, shoot, that's awesome, right? Like, I'm from, like a fan perspective, I'm like, oh, shoot, I never knew they would have liked working with that guy so much. But it's weird. I picture it like if I say a certain name, everybody else is going to get offended, right? And that's not the case, but I'm just weird like that. That's just how I think. So, I don't know, man. I guess I would say there's a lot of different people that are cool. I'm going to go with one, DDK, because DDK is just like he's so ecstatic, bro. Whenever, like, we haven't worked in a while at this point because, like, I've worked on my album and I had school and all that, but, bro, like, whenever I would send him a beat or something, or whenever I'd, do transitions for him, like, he was always, like, down, like, with whatever I did. And it was just so awesome to, like, work with someone on the same wavelength. So that's one thing I love working with DDK for. Shy High is awesome, bro, because the dude just gets the song. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. I'll send him, like, a 20-second snippet of something, man. It'll be, like, the part where he features on or something. And, like, I'll send him 20 seconds of it. I won't even send him the whole song. And he'll just bring it back, and he'll send it back, he'll send his verse back, and it'll be like the exact thing the song needs. It is like it's almost crazy. You know how people say, like, Jay-Z has that like ability to like pop off without even writing or whatever? Like, Shy High's just got an ability to just embody the energy of a song, man. It's kind of insane. It's awesome. I think everybody can learn from him. He's a pretty dope dude. He just gets the energy, man. It's awesome. It's like magic. I don't know. But yeah, those are two guys that are really dope in their own respective ways. I like working with them for different reasons. It's just, it's pretty cool. Shoot, I want to include a third, though, because I feel like three is better than two. You know what I mean? Three makes it like a trifecta, not like a, two buddies in the back of the dance club. You know what I mean? A trifecta really solidifies it. So. Shoot, man. Let's go Luther, bro. I love Luther. Luther's dope. We play Fortnite sometimes too, man. I've been trying to like tell him, man, we need to stream this, but we don't know how to stream it. So unfortunately, we just play Fortnite with, like, close friends and just joke around and create the best times out of nowhere, and nobody gets to see it. But that's also fun because it's like personal, right? Not everything has to be recorded. Not everything has to be like documented. But yeah, Luther's awesome, man. Because even like on the musical standpoint, man, like I don't know, he's on a different wavelength, but at the same time, like, I understand what he's doing. And when we come together and like talk about music and do stuff, and when I featured on Mixed Emotions, it's just like a snap, like bam, like we're there. It's almost like the thing that I love about Luther is that this man is just like. He's just so good at like producing that it makes me like want to like be a part of his world that much more. So it like pushes me to do better. It's weird. It's almost like a like I am jealous. This dude is so good at what he does that it's pushing me to do more. And when we combine and work on something, it's just magic because I think he might feel the same way. I'm not sure. I can't speak for him, right? But that's how I feel about him. So when we work and we're close, like we're actual friends, like Snapchat and shit. You feel me? So Luther's awesome. Um, Thank you for the question, Raspberry. I got a question here from Graham A. I think Hoffman or Hortman. I'm not sure, man, because my screenshot cut off the top of your name, so I'm not sure if the F's or T's or what's going on, right? But you know it. You're Graham A. There you go. Graham A. asks, "Are there any features in the album, and why did you want them to be on your album?" Well, this is a pretty good question because features have been kind of like prevalent in my albums before. The last two have had a couple features, right? First one had a feature. This one is pretty much a solo gig. Not gonna lie, I got one feature on this thing. I got one feature, and technically I got three, if you count like voice clips and stuff. But you know, an actual feature, I got one, and he kills it so hard. It is like the most insane thing you'll ever hear, and it comes at a very pivotal point in the album, like concept-wise and flow-wise. So when you hear the song that he's on, and when you hear like what he does, it every time I listen to it in context of the album, it just makes me smile ear to ear because he killed it so bad. It's like, oh man, like this is just like insane, you know? So that's like that. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil who's on it. He's new to the Scuba Diver discography, right? So I don't want to like spoil it. But he knows he's on the album. If there's a guy watching this who thinks, oh, is he talking about me? Unfortunately I don't think it might be you because the dude on the album knows that like he's there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I want to work with everybody though. It's kind of an interesting thing because every single artist I've worked with has their own specific thing that they are just crazy at, right? That I can't do or that they're better at than me, right? Jacob Parker, bro, that man can sing his lungs out, and it's so beautiful. It's like the best. Like me and my synths, man. I keep telling every time we get like a milestone on that song, and I make an Instagram post about it. I'm always messaging like DMing him, bro. Like you made that song, like, cause that man actually he carried me so hard, and that song is insane. It would not have the traction it does without him, and that's a fact, right? No matter how juicy the synths are, how pungent the production, bro, that man is like a walking, like, I don't know, good person. That man's a walking, bro. I don't have like the capacity in my head to express how awesome he is, like through words. So when you hear me stammering and sputtering, that probably means more than if I said like an adjective that would describe them. You know what I mean? Cause like, I don't know, man. That dude's something else. And like every single feature, right, that I've really worked with. Shout out Cherry, you know what I mean? On This Is It. He had that like gospel timbre that I just needed for this like song, and it was like, oh, this is perfect. I mean, every single person I've worked with, there has been something that is just amazing about them, right? That like every single person. So, and I recognize that people are like way better at stuff than me. So I want to work with everybody. It's just the fact that like I have like what's it called? One, its features get back really slow, so there's not like a lot of features on most of my demos right now. Two is like I rework a bunch of songs, and sometimes the reworked song like doesn't need the feature anymore. It's just, you know, it's stuff like that, right? So it's, I don't know. But this album doesn't have too many features. It has one, and it's amazing, and I won't spoil it, but I think it will blow you away. I really do. And yeah, thank you, Graham, for the question. And on to the last question of our good conversation here. Unfortunately, I know. I wish we had more. We'll do some more. Of course. We got Mr. Nick.stew, I believe. The screenshot cut off the top of his name again, but I can pretty much make out his name is Nick.stew. Thank you for asking the question. He says, "What first got you into making music?" Now, this goes way back. This goes way back to when I was a little ADHD, borderline, special education. Like I was I was 401k, not 401k. What's it called? 504 plan. The plan in school where they think you're just basically. I wasn't in the special education classrooms, but everybody treated me like I was in school, right? Like the teachers, especially middle school, elementary. So it was just really annoying, but also at the same time, like I just got to mess around a little bit more. So, you know, I don't know. I was always like on like my giant iPad, making little Fruity Loop things in like fourth grade, and then that evolved into me doing it at home, and that evolved into me taking it a little bit more seriously later in life, and that evolved into me making beats and doing it every day and working nonstop, and then breaking down emotionally because I can't get a mix right. And it's like I don't know. It started like that. It started with me being, you know, I guess bored because nobody wanted to really hang out because they thought I was weird in elementary school. So I would just do stuff on my own on my iPad. You feel me? And that's really where it all started. I just started making banger beats, and using GarageBand phone loops and telling everybody that I made the most insane dubstep song of all time when it was really just pre-mixed, pre-mastered loops that just sounded awesome because they sounded awesome, right? Like that was really how it started. But I think I'm a big fan of anything creative. If music didn't exist, the next big thing would be movies or something, right? Like if music didn't exist, it'd be drawing, it'd be writing scripts, it'd be learning cinematography and color grading, right? Like just creative stuff, right? I'm big into creativity. It's probably the most human thing that humans have. Like, not a lot of animals you look at and you're like, wow, that's very creative. I mean, I saw this video of a pufferfish and he made like a little shrine or something to attract a mate, and that was like really awesome. But like, you don't think of a pufferfish making music, or you can think of a bird making music, but you don't think of a bird making like Canned Heat by Jamiroquai. You feel me? Like only Jamiroquai could have made that amazing song. So it's like stuff like that I think is, I don't know. I think creativity is important, and I'm glad that I have that creative, I guess, bone or gene or that thing in my body that makes me creative. I'm glad, right? So I don't know. But yeah, that's how I got into music. Really, sort of just I was lonely because nobody wanted to be my friend because I thought I was weird, and then I made some tunes, and now I think I'm a little bit less weird. I might be a little bit like above the par, like I don't know. I might be a bit above par when it comes to weirdness still, but I'm not like an outcast. I'd say I'm like on the brink of like, I don't know, we're not inviting you to the party type of thing, right? Just on the brink. But I'm cool enough to be like, oh shoot, like I can get down with whatever's happening, but I don't know. I'm a weird guy. I don't know, you know. It's tough reflecting on how possibly inhuman you are, or at least inhuman compared to other people. I look at other people, man, they just got their stuff together, right? But me, man, I don't really got as much stuff together as I would like to have together. And music is that one thing that I just have complete control over. Does not matter. Does not matter. I can release a disco song. I can release a 20-minute ambient cut. You know what I mean? I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And it's like the coolest thing ever. I don't know. That's why I just love music so much. Maybe I romanticize it to a certain extent, but just having the ability to control everything you need to in a certain situation that's an overlooked superpower is just having stuff in your control and having power over certain things that are important to you. That is a superpower, I believe. So I don't know. That's how I got into music, man. I could do whatever I wanted, and people praised me for being more weird in music, right? It was weird when I first got social media, like TikTok and all that, and I was promoting my beats. I had no idea my beats were good. That's a fact. Like I just thought, like, oh, I'm just messing around. Like this isn't professional quality. Like this isn't like I'm like this sample chop isn't that great or whatever. I posted on TikTok, post on social media, and the weirder you get, the more traction you get. I'm like, wait a second, like this is amazing because the weirder I can get, the more I push boundaries, the more I get out of my box, the more people like gravitate towards this stuff. And that was the first thing that blew my mind. And obviously, it's more than just black and white. You can't just make the weirdest thing possible and expect it to click if it sounds a little bit meh, right? But that just clicked with me. It just gave me this drive. It gave me this like okay, fine, okay, I got you. This is me, right? So I don't know. I think that was very important. I think that was very, very important. I think the fact I grew up kind of an outcast is a very, very important factor into why I love music so much. But yeah, man, thank you, thank you, Nick. That was a bit of a long one. That was a bit of a tangent going on again about like social, my past social experiences. But man, good conversations, man. Good conversations. I want to play you out here with a little bit of an Oscar Tate beat for you guys. Just a little demo that didn't make the album. Maybe it will give you a little bit of an idea on where the album might head, right? But I want to play a little demo, just a little something. It's barely mixed, barely mastered, but hey, you've made it this far. Here's a little Oscar Tate demo. Thank you, everybody. This has been Scuba Diver with Good Conversation.